In the serene village of Nyakundi, nestled in the heart of Africa, life moved at a gentle pace. The village was a close-knit community where everyone knew each other's names and secrets. Among the villagers lived a family of 4 on a modest farm. Kofi, a widower with a gambling problem. His daughter Amma, a resilient and beautiful young woman. And his 2 sons, Kwame and Kojo. Amma was the pillar of her family, taking care of her father and brothers after her mother's untimely death. Despite the hardships, she maintained a hopeful spirit, always believing that better days were ahead. Her daily routine included tending to the crops, feeding the animals, and preparing meals, while her brothers worked alongside her in the fields. Unbeknownst to Amma and her brothers, Kofi had accumulated a significant gambling debt. His addiction to the local betting games had spiraled out of control, and he now owed a dangerous amount of money to some very dangerous people. Despite his best efforts to conceal his troubles, whispers of his debt began to circulate among the villagers. Amma noticed her father's increasing anxiety, but attributed it to the pressures of farm life. One evening, as Kofi sat alone, contemplating his next move, he was visited by a mysterious man named Mosi. Mosi offered Kofi a deal. If Kofi agreed to help him smuggle goods through the village, he would erase the debt. Desperate and afraid, Kofi reluctantly agreed, unaware of the true nature of Mosi's business. One fateful evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon,
to the crops,
the
feeding
tranquility
the
of the farm
and
was
preparing
shattered.
meals, while her brothers
3
worked
menacing
alongside
figures
her in the
appeared at
fields.
the edge of the farmstead.
Unbeknownst to
They were
Amma,
the outlaws, known throughout the region for their ruthlessness and brutality. Their leader, a man named Juma, was particularly feared. His cold eyes and scarred face made him a terrifying presence. With grim determination, they approached Kofi, demanding immediate repayment of his debt. The confrontation was tense, with Kofi stammering out apologies and pleas for more time. But the outlaws were unmoved. Amma and her brothers, hearing the commotion, rushed outside. "What do you want from us?" Amma demanded, her voice steady despite her fear. Juma's cold eyes met hers. "If your father can't pay, we'll take you as collateral," he declared. The words hung heavy in the air, a death sentence to the peaceful life they once knew. Amma's brothers protested vehemently, but the outlaws were armed and dangerous. Knowing there was no other way to save her family, Amma agreed to go with them. "I'll go," she said quietly, tears brimming in her eyes. "Just promise not to hurt my family." The outlaws bound her hands and led her away, leaving her family in a state of shock and despair. Kwame and Kojo vowed to bring her back, no matter what it took. They began to plan a rescue, while Kofi was consumed with guilt and shame. Amma was taken to a hidden camp deep in the forest. There she was kept under constant watch, her freedom stripped away. The days blended into nights, each moment filled with uncertainty and fear. She remained strong, drawing on her inner resilience and hope that her father would find a way to rescue her. During her captivity, she learned that the outlaws were part of a larger network involved in illegal activities, and she overheard plans that could endanger the entire village. Back in Nyakundi, the news of Amma's abduction spread like wildfire. The villagers were outraged, their peaceful community shattered by this act of violence. Kofi, racked with guilt and desperation, confessed everything to Kwame and Kojo. The villagers, led by the elder Nana Akua, decided to take a stand against the outlaws. Determined to rescue their sister, Kwame and Kojo rallied the villagers. They formed a plan, combining their limited resources to gather the money needed to pay off their father's debt. But they knew that even with the money, confronting the outlaws would be perilous. Under the cover of night, Kwame, Kojo, and a group of brave villagers set out for the outlaws' camp. They moved silently through the forest, their hearts pounding with anticipation and fear. As they approached, they could see the campfire and the shadowy figures of the outlaws. A fierce battle ensued. The villagers, armed with little more than determination and a few weapons, fought valiantly against the outlaws. Amid the chaos, Kwame and Kojo managed to reach Amma, who had been locked in a makeshift cell. They freed her and began their escape. With the outlaws defeated and Amma freed, the villagers returned to Nyakundi. Weary but victorious, the family was reunited, their bond stronger than ever. Kofi, humbled by his mistakes, vowed to change his ways and make amends for the pain he had caused. Amma, though scarred by the ordeal, emerged even more resilient and determined. The village of Nyakundi, forever changed by the scandal, learned the importance of unity and standing up against injustice. They also uncovered the smuggling operation and worked with neighboring villages to dismantle it, ensuring their community remained safe. Just as the village began to settle back into its peaceful routine, a shocking revelation came to light. Amma discovered a hidden letter in her father's belongings, revealing that Mosi, the man who had offered to erase Kofi's debt, was actually her long-lost uncle. He had orchestrated the entire debt situation to draw Kofi into his illegal activities and use the family farm as a front. Confronted with this betrayal, Kofi realized that his brother's return was not a coincidence. Mosi had planned to use Amma as leverage to control the farm and expand his smuggling operations. Enraged, Amma and her brothers confronted Mosi, who had returned to the village under the guise of helping them rebuild. In a dramatic showdown, the villagers once again rallied together. This time, they were determined to bring Mosi to justice. With the help of neighboring villages, they exposed Mosi's crimes and handed him over to the authorities. Kofi, devastated by his brother's betrayal, found solace in the strength and support of his children and the community. He committed himself to rebuilding his life and the family farm, working tirelessly to ensure a brighter future for Amma, Kwame, and Kojo. Amma, having faced unimaginable trials, emerged as a leader within the village. Her resilience and courage inspired others, and she played a pivotal role in strengthening the community and protecting it from future threats. And so, the village of Nyakundi, having faced scandal, betrayal, and danger, found unity and strength in the face of adversity. The lessons learned and the bonds forged through their trials ensured that they would stand together, no matter what challenges lay ahead. Years later, as the sun set over the tranquil village, Amma stood at the edge of the farm, now thriving and prosperous. She looked out over the fields, remembering the trials they had faced and the strength they had found within themselves and each other. The village of Nyakundi had become a beacon of hope and resilience, a testament to the power of unity and the unbreakable bonds of family.